It's Yummy time.
Hello everyone, it's Yummy. I'm back again with another video, and today I'm going to talk about the Meta Weekly number 42. This Meta Weekly was really refreshing because it was a post-Banlist tournament, so no more for hires, no more Amazonas, and it was also a single deck side deck format. This format was a little bit newer to me because the time that I started playing the Meta Weeklies, they had just changed it to a 2-deck format where you would have to win both rounds with 2 different deck archetypes. So side decking is a little bit newer to me. I expected a lot of Blue Eyes White Dragon because the new cards were out and it was post-ban list, so I wasn't really sure how to build the side deck, but anyways, I went into the Meta Weekly with Geminis. It's a pretty back row heavy deck. There's only 6 monsters in here. 3 Dark Valkyrias, 3 Evocator Chevaliers, and then the rest of it is just back row. So you have 3 Gemini Sparks in here, 3 Supervise, 3 Drowning Mirror Forces, 3 Paleozoic Canadias, and 2 Birthright. If I could have had a third one, sure, I would have had one, but 2 Birthright is fine, just to bring it back with the Gemini Spark. My side deck, I kind of had trouble building because since it was post-ban list, I had no idea what people were going to be running. My only guess was Blue Eyes was going to be everywhere, and I didn't really know what else to expect. So in replacement of like Drowning Mirror Forces, I just kind of teched in like Wall of Disruptions and Mirror Wall, like other kind of back row protection, but I didn't change the deck too much. I personally am not a fan of changing a deck in between duels just because I like the consistency of having, you know, like I just like knowing what's in the deck, and side decking I feel like might throw me off, but my side deck was pretty weak. I didn't have anything specifically to combat Blue Eyes White Dragon, so this was a pretty good build of Geminis. I believe I took it from the Duel Links meta website. I'm sorry, I can't remember who built it, but it's a very good build, very consistent. Everything is a 3 of or a 2 of, so a lot of fun, really powerful. It's really good. Now it's time for some replays. This one is against Iwi Surname. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But sure enough, he's running Arcana with Blue Eyes White Dragon. I ran Akiza with Balance. I didn't even know that Luna could learn Balance, but if I had known that earlier, I probably would have been running this deck with Luna, but who cares? It doesn't matter anyways. It activates Bingo Machine Go, and then he shows me 3 different Blue Eyes. So he gets 1 added to his hand. And then he starts off with a Cosmo Brain, which is normally what you want anyways. Normal summons Protector, and then he synchroed right into an Azure Eyes, which is a pretty good turn 1 play. You can't target it until the end of the next turn. So he just summoned the Azure Eyes in defense mode. And then I summon Dark Valkyria, and then I set the Canadia, and then Gemini Spark. I believe I set the other one, yeah. Set the other Canadia just to set up for this turn. He gets his Dragon Spirit of White back. When he banished my Canadia, I didn't chain it because I didn't realize that I could have targeted him already. So at the time that he activated his Galaxy Cyclone, he targeted my other Canadia, and then I just ended up chaining that one and then flipping down the other dragon, the Dragon Spirit of White. But honestly, had I tried to target the Azure Eyes with the second Canadia, he would have just flipped it back up anyways. So I just flipped that Dragon Spirit of White down so he couldn't attack me with it. And then he swung with the Azure Eyes, and then I just activated Gemini Spark to destroy it. But now my board is clear. So that's the problem with Geminis, is because it's such a back row heavy deck and it relies on tributing off your Geminis to destroy a monster, it's a little scary because you can just have no cards on the board like I did. So I have this brick in my hand for a little bit, and he just attacks me with the Dragon Spirit of White. But he also has only 1 card in his hand. It's probably not anything good, or it's a brick or something. And I felt pretty okay, so I just had to like eat that 2500 for a little bit. I topped another Dark Valkyria, and then I activated Supervise. So Dark Valkyria's effect is you can add a spell counter to it and it gains 300 attack. And when you remove a spell counter from it, you can destroy one monster on the field. So I ended up targeting the Dragon Spirit of White and I swung with Dark Valkyria and set the Gemini Spark just in case I needed to destroy another monster. He ends up getting a Silver's Cry, activates Dragon Spirit of White, and he targets my Gemini Spark to banish, but it's chainable anyways, so I just tribute off my Dark Valkyria and then destroy this Dragon Spirit of White. Supervise is really nice because when it gets sent to the graveyard, whatever monster was equipped to supervise, you get to special summon it. So I got my Dark Valkyria back, I got an Evocator Chevalier, and then I activated Supervise on that as well. Just in case I lost my monster, I could still get it back next turn. Set a Birthright, but it didn't matter because it was game anyways. And yeah, overall, Geminis are a pretty good matchup for Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is a really aggro deck that doesn't really rely on back row, and I think I'm starting to discover that my play style in Duel Links is relying on a lot of back row effects or monster effects. I don't care too much for heavy beaters or anything like that, so pretty fun, good matchup. This next one was with Juice Joint, and he was also running Arcana and Blue Eyes White Dragon. So there was a lot of Arcanas during this meta weekly. As I expected, I didn't really know what else to expect, honestly. I'm glad that there was no Amazonas. This deck kind of sucks against Amazonas, but I have a Chevalier in my hand first turn and 2 Supervise, and honestly, I don't really like going first with Geminis, but it's fine. I had a Canadia anyways, so I just ended up setting it. So he gets a Cosmo Brain out onto the field. I have to save my little Chevalier guy, so I flip up Canadia. And he doesn't have a Silver's Cry, which I was really scared he was gonna have, but that was good that he didn't. I have a Drowning Mirror Force in my hand now, and so that's pretty good. But I activated Chevalier's effect, and his effect is if you send an equipped spell to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. I target the back row because I already know that the Cosmo Brain is set. So I'm a little worried about the back row, but he activated Birthright, and because he chained it to the destruction and it didn't really work, I got my Canadia back, and because Birthright, if that gets destroyed, you have to destroy the monster as well. It didn't really matter. He might have misplayed there. He might have not known about that effect. Honestly, I didn't really know about the Birthright effect either, but that worked out for me. So I get another Supervise out, and then I target the Cosmo Brain and just end up destroying it anyways. Set the Drowning Mirror Force and swing. He has 2 sets, so I'm guessing it's probably nothing good or nothing summonable anyways. End up swinging and it's a protector. He has Birthright, so he gets his Blue Eyes back on the field. But I have a Gemini Spark set, so I'm not super worried or anything. So here he goes. He synchros into an Azure Eyes. And you have to chain the Gemini Spark effect to Azure Eyes so you could target the dragon itself. So I just ended up chaining Gemini Spark and destroying it. So that kind of sucked for him. I got to draw 1 with the Gemini Spark. And I'm not too worried because I got a Drowning set. But I had to eat this attack right here with the Canadia. So I just set 2 back row. The good thing about Canadia is it's a good bluff for the Drowning Mirror Force. It'll activate a delay, so your opponent will see a delay and they probably can't read the back row. But I ended up setting everything just in case he targeted a back row and got the wrong one. He just ends up swinging, and then I ended up drowning the Blue Eyes. Poor guy. But at this point in the duel, I have a ton of back rows, so that's also just something to consider if you want to play Geminis. I run out of monsters really quickly with this deck. He gets a Blue Eyes back. I end up having a Canadia because it's lethal. I get a Dark Valkyria on the board. He floodgates it. I chain a Gemini Spark to it to destroy his monster, and then I get my Canadia back on the field. So I just end up swinging with that, and that's like my only monster right now is my Canadia. And it ended up winning me the game. So that was good. Thank you, Canadia, for winning the game for me. The real MVP is Canadia, not Dark Valkyria or Chevalier or anything. But again, Geminis are a really good matchup for Blue Eyes, so I had a lot of fun here. So I faced 2 opponents with Blue Eyes White Dragon. My other 2 opponents during the Swiss round, they were running spellbooks. And spellbooks were not a good matchup for Geminis at all, especially because I was only running 6 monsters. If I ever summoned anything, they would just end up fading away the monsters and stuff like that. So not a good matchup. I didn't save any of the replays, unfortunately. I had a really good duel with Cosmic Flare, and he was running spellbooks. Well, I just thought it was funny anyways, because I believe I activated Drowning Mirror Force on him twice, if I'm not mistaken. So Drowning Mirror Force is a really good card against spellbooks, but at the end of the day, I ended up losing both rounds against spellbooks. It just couldn't hold up to the fate. And Silent Magician really sucks too, because it can just negate the Supervise, it can negate the Gemini Spark, so pretty weak matchup. But overall, I really enjoyed the one deck format, just because if you can figure out what everybody else will be playing, it'll be easier to build your deck, I think. There are pros and cons to both formats. I do miss the side deck format a little bit because I like playing with the different archetypes and the different matchups. I feel like the 2-deck format allowed for so much more diversity within the decks and stuff like that. Like, occasionally people would throw in a curveball for their second deck, and it would be like some kind of rogue deck that just ended up winning everything. The side deck is just a little bit more difficult for me because it's hard to tell what people are going to be playing. Maybe it was just a little difficult because it was post-Banlist and the meta hasn't settled yet. But who knows, maybe the side deck format will grow onto me. Right now, I don't think I could choose between either of them because both of them are fun. I really enjoy the Meta Weekly overall. It's a nice, friendly competition with players who at least help me learn how to play better. Overall, it was a really fun Meta Weekly. I'm excited to do this again. Decade is going to be doing a 2-deck format for 2 weeks, so I get to compare, and then we can all take a vote on it at the end of the month to see what format we prefer. Again, right now, I'm just not sure yet, and I'm excited for the meta to settle down. I think I can bring back a lot of old favorites, maybe. Geargias might make a return, who knows, but I really hope Treacherous sees a lot less play. I ran into a couple players with Treacherous Trap Hole, but not too many. So thanks, Decade, for doing this tournament every single week. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please join me on my stream Friday at 4 p.m. PST. So I will see you all later. Bye!